Being the son of poor Southern Baptist sharecroppers didn't always have its perks, but for the young Johnny Cash, who was mostly known as JR, it developed a very nice work ethic and successful hard-working mentality. He was born February 26, 1932, in Kingsland, Arkansas. Ray and Carrie Rivers Cash were his parents, along with 7 other brothers and sisters. Working was preached early in the Cash household. They were constantly working out in the fields, harvesting cotton and other crops. They faced so many struggles and hardships and barely made it by at times, but the Cash family used music as an outlet from their difficult reality, especially JR. The Cash family sung songs while working in the fields. They would sing traditional and spiritual songs, also hymns, so music was embedded in everyday life for them. At the age of 12, John started playing the guitar, and his interest in music evolved. His mother, Carrie, scraped together money for voice lessons, but the teacher insisted that John didn't need the lessons and that he should let his natural voice deviate since it was so unique. His love for music helped bring about his career later in life. In 1950, after graduating high school, Cash moved to Pontiac, Michigan, and began his military career. He did basic training in Texas, where he met Vivian Liberto, whom he eventually married and had 4 daughters with. Most of his 4 years in the Air Force, he was stationed in Landsberg, Germany, and learned how to read Russian Morse code. Of his 4 years in the Air Force, he was stationed in Germany, and he learned and was eavesdropping on Soviet radio traffic. Anyhow, it was in Germany that Cash's attention started turning more towards music. He played shows for everyone and taught guitar lessons, and it was in July of 1954 that Cash was discharged and he moved to Memphis, Tennessee, married Vivian, and formed a tight bond with 2 mechanics, Marshall Grant and Luther Perkins. The 3-man band started playing blues, country, western, and gospel music. In 1954, he was successfully signed to Sun Records, owned by Sam Phillips, who had previously signed Elvis Presley. Phillips was impressed with the song Hey Porter Cash had written when he was returning home from the Air Force. Cash wrote Cry, Cry, Cry overnight and sold 100,000 copies in the southern states alone. Elvis Presley and the other Sun record artists began touring with Johnny Cash. Folsom Prison Blues, his second recording, was a national hit as well, selling 1 million copies. He started making appearances at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. By 1958, he had recorded 50 songs successfully, and even pop artists were recording the Cash tunes. Cash had concerts in Asia, Europe, Australia, and other nations in the world, but also made sure he performed at prisons across the nation, free of charge. As Cash's chaotic schedule caused him to use drugs as time wore on, tranquilizers and amphetamine dextrin, and he also drank very heavily. He had several near-death experiences due to overdoses. Soon after his incidents, he divorced his wife and moved to Henderson, Tennessee to recover. In 1967, after he was healed and clean, he married June Carter Cash, which transformed him and made him have a triumphant comeback. They started making appearances on ABC's The Johnny Cash Show, and he was sold out at Carnegie Hall. Keeping his amazing story in mind, think of the influence on America's culture and society throughout those times. He displayed successful work ethics, and he had a determined attitude even as a small child working in the fields. He never gave up and followed his dreams. After drinking, my time's up, isn't it? Wow.